Done now.
Done now. Okay. So now you remember another equation. So the first equation for the hyperplane is w dot x plus b is equal to 0. Then the distance between the hyperplane capital B, that is equal to the norm of b1 minus b2 divided by the norm of vector w. And now let us go with the same. Now this is derivation of the distance between two parallel planes. Now this equation you have seen now. Let's see what is this. How we are going to achieve this. Here W is the vector and one is x1, the another one x2. This example vectors, and now you have a vector which is also going in the W. So what happens is, if TW is the length of this vector, what you can do is a resultant x2, you can write it x1 plus TW. And we know the distance is equal to, normally this distance between these two is equal to the norm of the TW, because this is the amplitude of the vector. Because this point lies in the surface of the hyperplane, this point also lies in the surface of the hyperplane. So the distance TW, by simply we can write it this one norm. What is this? You take the norm of T out and the vector out, scalar and the vector, you split it out. Now again we will write the equation for x2. We have a w dot x2 plus b2 is equal to 0. And we will write another equation, w dot x1 plus b1 is equal to 0. So this is with the offset value b1 and this is with the offset value b2. This is x1 and this is x2. So let us start from this w dot x2 plus b2 is equal to 0. So the w dot, what is this x actually? In the x resultant, if you take, what is happening? This is x1 plus tw plus b1. Okay, this is the x2. This value we are substituting. x1 plus t into vector w. The same first equation we are substituting here. Now we will split it. W dot x1 plus this t into w dot w, that is w square, plus b2. What is this again? We are simply doing one simplification. That is adding plus b1 and subtracting minus b1. And if you add this and you club it together, minus b1 you leave it and you write as it is. What is this? W dot x1 plus b1. What is this? This equation again, this is 0. So minus b, this equation plus b2 is equal to 0. Okay, because this is the condition of this hyperplane is equal to 0. So minus b1 plus t into the norm of vector w square plus b2 is equal to 0. Then this b1, we take this, right hand side, because we want to how many times we are going to make this multiple, right? So the distance tw only we want to know, and the t and this, if you take this side, that is b1 minus b2 divided by norm of w square. It is your t. So what is the distance? Now already we know that t into the norm of w. So what is this? T into the norm of w, that is t will get cancelled out. Okay, and sorry, multiple in my w means w and the w square will cancel out. So you will get b1 minus b2 divided by single w. Instead of w square, if we multiply this, the numerator and denominator w will go. So in the denominator you have only one w. So the equation remains b1 minus b2 divided by norm of the vector w. This is what we have given it here. b1 minus b2 divided by norm. So this is how we derive the distance between two parallel planes. So the issue here is how to fix this hyperplane. How to fix this hyperplane in the other classification side. this should behave the margin of one set of classification, and this should behave the margin of another set of classification. So now you have a distance D, which is governed by D1 minus D2 divided by the norm of W. And in this space, you can move your hyperplane such that it is giving a very sensitive or very distinguished classification of both the data. You understand? Students?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubt? Any doubt? What happens to others? I'm not getting any sound from others. Afternoon 4 o'clock. All are awake?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Okay, you write down this. I'll wait for a few minutes. Did you finish writing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Only 3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, 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 ma'am.
7? You all have finished, right? Shall we continue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we have a recap. We learned the points, data points, whatever we collect is a vectors, but even then we handle it as a scalar value, and we have to define the hyperplane. And the need for identification of gap is very important, because that only fixes the hyperplane in between the gap. So now this is an optimization issue, right? When there is also 2 things. Suppose, like now this data you're having in a scattered manner, but sometimes you have a function goes like a convex function or a non-convex function, everything, you know. But here also, like there's a possibility that you can draw the hyperplane to fix the data below particular range, you know. Suppose, you know, like if you want to characterize the stable states, so okay, what is the least energy level or some kind of parameter. So what the people, they say that they have to fix, they have to define whether it's a convex or a, like, you know, non-convex function. You know, what is a convex function? See the first left side figure, and you have a blue dotted line, okay, and after this blue dotted line below, you can see the segment is having a points, low lying point, energy lying points. All the points are below this segment. So you have a classification, one segment below and the line, a segment above the classification. So the property here, if you see the below points, the least value will be the global minimum, because I have explained it, right? In optimization, the problem is to find out the optimized state, that is the least energy conformation, if this is the energy scale, or the least kinetic energy, or if it is a kinetic energy scale, or very less freedom for the constraints. You know, we have to define what could be, according to the phenomena, we have to define the least function, you know. So if any function that has the least value below this, what is the decision plane, and we consider this as a global minimum, because we will have only one minimum. But if you have some function or the same hyperplane, which is like defining a race or a heap of the value or the function, you know, because we are see here in the second right side, if you see, the middle portion is the raising point, but at the both ends you can have falling graphs, you know, it is decreasing, but you can have some minimum, you know, the least minimum is the global, but you will randomly find out some transition state, so that you can find out as a local minimum. Okay, so these are all some terms when you are going to analyze the data. Why it is going back? So with this, now quadratic linear, we'll go to the first case 1. We have some data which is linearly separable data. From the title, see, we are going to see now the application of the support vector machine, where you have some data which are separable by a linear fashion. Okay, so that's what we named this as a linearly separable data. And here there's a possibility to make a hard margin, because there's no flexibility. One margin that itself is fine. To put one side, the other side in between, you can find the n number of gaps. I mean, hyperplanes. You see that n number of hyperplanes made by the blue lines. But we are not going to take all this blue, but we are going to take only the red one, because that describes the equal probability from both the sides to cross. Okay, so it's a clear distinction of both the cases. Let us see, we have a data, okay, where you have some y is equal to -1, kind of 1, and we have a positive data, that is y is equal to +1. So let's see, x1, x2, x3, all xn belongs to Rn. Okay, that is general here, but within this gap, okay, you have a y1, y2 up to yn, that is belongs to -1 to +1. So the positive instances, they are carrying y is equal to +1, and the negative instances carrying y is equal to -1, and in between you have some region where you have a -1 to +1 region, where you can derive or you can generate your own support vector machine model. So an infinite number of such hyperplanes exist. So SVM finds the hyperplane that maximizes the gap. So what is the condition here? It should not minimize, it should maximize the gap between the data points on the boundary surfaces. So whatever the boundary points we are saying, that is what it is called the boundary, that is the support vectors. So in the left side, you have only one support vector made by the yellow lined blue star. The right side, you have two support vectors, which is red circles, blue, yellow circle. When yellow outlined, red outlined yellow circle. So these are the support vectors. And with these vectors, we are going to identify the hyperplane. If the points on the boundaries are not informative, SVM will not do well. So if your data has mostly some above threshold level of errors, the margin or that support vectors you are choosing will not be meaningful. So now, linear classifier, let us see what could be, how to minimize this. Okay. So now we have a negative instances with a value of y is equal to -1. So w dot x plus b is equal to -1. Right side you cast in instances where you have a +1. So w dot x plus b is equal to +1. And we always see that in the middle we have a support vector which is w dot x plus b is equal to 0. So now we have to worry about these two equations define the gap. What is this? The -1. W dot x plus b is equal to -1 and w dot x plus b is equal to +1. These define the gap. Okay. So equivalently, if we write this, what we can put it? W dot x plus b plus 1 is equal to 0 and this is b minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay. So if it is a -1, if this point is here, if it is a little more further, it can go any value. So you can fix this. So now we know that d is equal to b1 minus b2 divided by the norm of the vector. Okay, so now if you see the b1 minus b2, now you have a distance. b1 minus b2, we have a equal distance, +1 and the -1. So this difference is 2 now. Okay, your b1, this is your b2. Okay, minus of b2 is 1. This is b1. 1 minus of -1, that is 2. So 2 divided by this. So now, since we want to maximize the gap, when we have to maximize the gap, we need to minimize this. What is this vector w? So the equivalent minimization, normally we are putting, instead of this w, we put half w square, because some of the mathematical people, for solution solving purpose, solving this polynomial or some other purpose, they use normally a square and a multiplied by a half. So instead of taking the minimize function as w, they are taking half of the norm w square. So as we explained, instead of b1 minus b2 divided by the vector, we are taking this in the statement linear classifier. We will go with 2 divided by the norm of vector w. And now here, see, now here we have put equal to -1 and equal to +1, this condition here. Now let's see, we have a huge range where we put only the boundaries. This is less than or equal to -1. This is greater than or equal to +1. So now the equation we want to minimize the same minimize function, which is subject to the condition w dot x1 plus b greater than or equal to 1 for I is equal to 1 to n, and you have to have a classifier where the sign of this matters. Okay, so now we are going to have, this is a general form, this is a specific +1 -1 gap form, and this is also another one. You can put with less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, whatever it is. These both statements are true. Okay, this is only the linear equation. Any doubt? So after seeing this, you can see this. We have to minimize a function half into norm of the square which is subject to this condition, that is w dot x plus b is equal to greater than or equal to 1. So these two, we have an objective function and this have a constraint. This is the constraint because this is the surface making a constraint. And to minimize this, you have to go with this function. So this is the primal formulation of the linear support vector. So this equation, they call this as a primal formulation of linear SVM. It is a convex quadratic program because in the later you see there's a convex program. Why it is not coming? Oh, there should be a convex. Okay. You understand what is this primal formulation of linear SVM? So normally, yeah, we are having one constraint and we have to form this objective. Okay. So we have to minimize this in such a way that these lines also form a hyperplane condition, but with a vector, you have to have a nominal norm so that you can divide these two classifications properly. And now we have the same. There's a primal, there is another one. See this same equation here. Now we have another, instead of what is this primal formulation, we have a dual formulation of M. What does it mean? It will add one more parameter. Instead of taking this W as it is, it will go this W as alpha 1, Y1 and X1. It will have a split up parameters where this alpha is equal to 1 to n, which is another variable. Okay, so the number always talks about the number of data, but your alpha I is the parameter, the features that is being added to analyze the SVM. So what we can do, instead of this W dot X1, you can have with W is equal to this one, and you have a function which is W dot X. This is alpha I yi xi dot x plus b. So this is same equation which is put here as a summation. So whatever you have the increased features, you can go with the same equation of the linear equation, but you have to solve it according to every variable. If it is I, you have to solve it for I. If it is for j, you have to solve it for j. So like that. Normally, you can find, you can understand this, the primal formulation. Okay. What is the benefit of using dual formulation? Suppose you have your data and you have some objective function and there's a solution and you have to a number of parameters which is bounded in a region, you know. See why we have to have a dual formulation? There is another slide. You remember? See, we have, if we add some another parameter, and if you are able to make it more clear distinction, classification is easy. So adding another feature will precisely form the location of the hyperplane. That okay? I think today we will stop with this because today you are overloaded. Okay, and next class we will continue the kernel and other stuff. Is that fine?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, so now let's say bye.
Thank you, ma'am.